Hello little buns, it is Steph. Welcome back to my home. Anyway, I have a dick.
Angelos Sophocleos is the assistant editor at the Durham University's philosophy journal Critique, and he tweeted, "Women don't have penises." Thanks for watching. I'm Gerald Pauschmann for The Point TV. What? What do you mean carry on? That was it, isn't it? Seems rational, logical to me. Sheesh. Well, thank you, YouTube, and to you, Deb Young, for bringing this to my attention. This was going to be the shortest video I had ever made until my team urged me to read the full article. Angelos Sophocleos, 24, from Cyprus, a student editor, was fired 3 days after he tweeted that women don't have penises. Now, before I get into this story, there is a small women's rights group called the Liverpool Resisters, or the Liverpool Resisters. And they have decided that women don't have penises and have gone as far as to paste stickers on power poles, billboards, and some statues as an attention-grabbing stunt. See what I did there? Now, G-Mann is going to draw a line in the sand and have you decide whether you favour biology or ideology. Firstly, let's talk about biology. There are exactly two kinds of people. One kind, men, have a prostate, penis, testes, and XY chromosomes. And the other kind, women, have a vagina, vulva, uterus, and XX chromosomes. Everyone is one or the other. Men and women have different character traits that follow naturally from their different bodies and therefore are suited to different social roles. That is fact. Now, ideology. Some people have a subjective sense of themselves as men, women, some other gender, or none at all, known as gender identity. Gender identity is not determined by a person's body type, personality, or social role. Rather, it's a matter of how someone feels most comfortable navigating our gender society. Trans people are people whose gender identity is different from the way that they were categorised as male or female at birth based on their body. That, my friends, is how they feel. My stance on this is very clear. I believe in biological fact. Ben, can you articulate what I mean?
The idea that sex or gender are malleable is not true. Okay? And I'm not denying your humanity if you're a transgender person. I am saying that you are not the sex to which you claim to be. You're still a human being, and you're a human being with an issue that I wish you Godspeed in dealing with in whatever way you see fit. But if you are going to dictate to me that I'm supposed to pretend that men are women and women are men, no. My answer is no. I'm not going to modify basic biology because it threatens your subjective sense of what you are.
Snap. Like Mr. Shapiro, I will support you in any of the ways that you want to feel, identify, or have a preference to, because we don't have to agree with one another. I think it's just a healthy debate that we're going to have an opposing view. Anywho, let's get back to Angelos, who tweeted that women don't have penises.
My penis responds to touch like a clitoris does.
Now, this is where the line is blurred for some. If you were born biologically as a man but feel like a woman, then Angelos is incorrect. Women do have penises.
Theory from a lot of people, and Chris Judd is one,
Yep.
that because of your physical assets, that it's probably unfair to play against girls or women.
Yeah.
You don't accept that, do you?
I think you've got to look at it as a much broader thing than just strength or size.
Angelos was also fired from his position as editor of the Durham University's online magazine The Bubble. The since-deleted tweet has received backlash from former chair of LGBT humanists Christopher Ward, who claimed the post was factually incorrect and not worthy of a debate. No, Chris, the post was factually correct.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
What you meant to say is the post was correct only if you feel like a woman with a penis.
You're great. I like you.
He wrote, as former chair of the LGBT Humanists UK, the opposition I experienced from a number of long-standing humanist members to trans people and trans issues was a stain on an otherwise great organisation. And here's the new president of Humanist Students retweeting horrific transphobic shit. Oh, that's rich coming from a person who says the real generation snowflake look no further than the baby boomers. He says, I think the record needs to be set straight. If there's a generation that truly is Generation Snowflake, you'd be hard pushed to find anybody who fits the box quite as well as baby boomers. Yep, you stick with that. Like to show us a couple of examples? I got a few. Standing by his tweets, Mr. Sophocleus wrote, I may be wrong and women might indeed have penises, although I don't believe that to be the case. Come on, man, don't get sucked into the rhetoric. Stay with us, brother. Don't go towards the light. Women don't have penises. Stay with that. The reason Angelos was fired from the student journal was because he had belittled trans experiences. And the explanation for his removal as editor of The Bubble was worse. His position at the magazine, he was told, required him to be impartial. I guess being impartial requires having no views at all, at least when it comes to gender. Now, I have a few transgendered subscribers, and I would love to know if you read such a tweet whether you would feel belittled. Now, back in August, Mr. Sophocleus was sent an email from Ryan Lowe, the president of the university's Philosophy Society, saying, we do not tolerate practices of racism, sexism, or trans-exclusionary sentiments. It seems to me that we have reached a weird era where we are sacking people for stating facts or having an opinion. We should be having healthy discussion instead of silencing people. Shouldn't we be encouraging debate about important issues rather than shutting it down? I always thought that universities and student newspapers are places where it has always been free to express a range of views. Now, of course, if you identify as a woman and say you have a penis, then you have every right to claim that as your truth. If you identify as a man and say you have a vagina, yep, good on you.
Good for you.
We will never convince you otherwise. And to be frank, we don't have to, because facts don't care about your feelings. Now, a reasonable person would debate this with me rationally and logically, but the lefties will get all hysterical, shout, and use made-up terminology like, I am transphobic, and let's just throw in some other words like white privilege and racist for good measure.
You're fucking a white male! You're a white man!
What is happening to our society? I truly believe the combativeness started with our government and then filtered down to the people, which then started a loop of anger, disgust, and a more entrenched left versus right attitude. I also believe that the media keeps stoking this anger and combativeness for reasons of ideology and ratings. You and I can sit here all day and blame each other, or we can realise what has happened to us and attempt to change it. But who would initiate this change? Our political parties? Well, that would only happen if we elect more politicians who will represent us in a more adult manner. I think if the media was to start reporting accurately and fairly, this would then possibly stop, or at least slow down the behaviour of the political class which feeds the angry people, especially those who believe in the mob mentality. I'm a proud Australian, but we can't allow political ideology to pit us all against each other. We can't allow them to put us into groups or categories and watch us fight. When it comes down to it, this era of feelings taking precedent over fact, along with the erosion of our ethics and morality in our society as a whole, only damages humanity, especially when a guy like Angelos loses his livelihood for simply stating a biological fact. I'd love to know your thoughts, and don't forget to comment below. And for those people who wished my father a happy 88th birthday on last week's video, he said, Dankeschön. Now go away and eat bacon. I'm Gerald Pauschmann for The Point TV.
I would like to know, oh my gosh, okay. I would like to hear from you. If there is any body part of yours that you've been taught to hate, but you don't, I want to know what it is. And I want to know, your experience. And I think in the comments, we can create a constructive space where we can help each other learn to love our bodies, especially the parts that we've been told are not good enough or are not right. Because they are, okay? If you're born with it, it's probably okay. Usually, okay? My penis did shrink quite a bit.